For prayer. Dear and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord God, we want to thank you for this glorious day. Heavenly Father, we have so much to be thankful for your wonderful love, your amazing grace, and for your Son who gave his life for us, dear Lord. We pray now that you would be with us as we go into our work, dear Lord, and guide us and lead us in everything we do and say. Heavenly Father, we pray these things in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we will have roll call. Commissioner Fleetwood. Present. Commissioner Key.
Present.
Commissioner Montgomery.
Present.
And we have a quorum.
Excellent. I want to welcome everyone here this evening. It's good to see a lot of participants and folks from the community. So we welcome you and welcome your input as we proceed forward this evening. We'll start with the approval of the minutes from our last meeting. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make that motion.
I'll second that.
Made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next up, approval of the claims. I'll read the claims for the public. For insurance premiums, $342,214.48. Additional insurance premium, $396.50. Payroll deductions, $169,257.04. Payroll, $372,442.40. County General, $112,286.97. Courts, $3,609.63. Highway, $135,657.23. Sheriff, $9,751.46. ACH, $94,187.16. CAW-3, $11,943.61. CAW-1, $6,428.63. ACH-1, $440. CAW-2, $14,273.52. Ditch claims, $5,257.50. Innkeeper distribution and 2020 excess refunds, $14,100.63. 2020 excess refunds, $216.48. And jury claims, $2,716.74. I'll entertain a motion to approve those claims.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. On to our department reports. If we have any department heads, we would ask that you come to the podium this evening and provide us with any information you have.
Okay, my name is David Vaughn. I'm with the Gibson County Email Service. Give you end of the month report for April. We had a total of $359 for the month. Total year-to-date bill was $1,056,021.20. Total year-to-date collected is $393,417.93. Percentage of what we've collected is about 37.25% collected out of what we billed. For the month of April, we had sort of new accounts of $254,818.40. We've collected out at $94,086.62, and we had the write-offs amounts was $2,378.63, and insurance adjustments was $12,035.21. I want to let you guys know too that that angels that we got paid the last meeting that has been ordered, and the projected date of what they're telling me right now is December for delivery. Okay, so it's a little ways off, but we welcome when it gets.
All right, thank you, Dave.
I'm sorry.
Got nothing. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'll make a motion to approve the write-offs.
I second that motion.
Motion made and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Write-offs have been approved, 3-0. Any other department heads? Mr. Tim Bottoms?
You got a couple of copies laying for that I gave you, just the money that we collected for the month of April. Our jail population for April. So that is 94, I'm sorry, 88. I'm gonna start out this morning, we were at 94, 73 males, 21 females, and when I left, it was 98. So,
Very good. Thank you, sir. Mrs. Hornby with the Health Department,
Yeah,
welcome.
you all teaching.
Doing well. Thanks for asking.
I really had to give you a copy of the 2021 COVID case stats. And it broke it down by day and then by month. And so as you can see, we had 811 January, 144 February, 197 cases in March, and now just 125 cases in April. So that's been the best month we've had, yeah.
Well, I like May, Di. I like May.
Yeah.
All right.
So we've only had 4 so far. So, we're averaging 1.33 cases a day in May, and we had 4.7 cases in April. So that's the best stat we've had in probably 6 months. So that's going the right direction.
Yes, ma'am.
See that. And then we had given 1,503 COVID vaccines in April, which is down from down almost 1,000 from the month before. So we really are encouraging people to still get their vaccines. We do have the Moderna vaccine at the fairgrounds. Again, it's every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 7, and walk-ins are accepted. So if somebody doesn't have an appointment, they can go out to the fairgrounds and we'll be there from 9 to 7. And I'm giving you a paper on something that we're going to discuss with you in your little packet. So we're going to check that if you want.
Great, great. And it's my understanding that Pfizer has now moved forward to include some of the younger population, and that may change the dynamics of the vaccination process. I mean, we may see some vaccinations occurring in the younger populations. Is that correct?
Yes, actually Pfizer was about 2 weeks, I think, it was about 2 weeks until Moderna will be approved for the same group. And they're looking at, in the next few weeks, 12 and over will be approved for the vaccines, both Moderna and Pfizer.
And the way I understand it, the data right now is pointing toward the younger population being the vulnerable population, just due to the lack of vaccinations and.
Right. Yeah, our greatest amount of cases is in the 20 to 30 year olds right now. So that's just because that population has not, we've not had a good turnout in that population for vaccination. So that's what we're doing.
Well, thank you for your report. Thank you. Do we have any other department heads here with us this evening? County Engineer Matt Holden.
I'll give a quick report on the park on this here for you. I think the Rule 5 and set the permits back, so we can actually start construction on them. I haven't let the contractor know, waiting on weather now, so we started on that. Seal parts up go pretty quick. And got as far as the county engineer side, working on several small structures replacements. Several meetings on different stuff. I talked to several commissioners about some issues, getting stuff replaced. Get geared up for construction season. Biggest one is we did receive the $1 million community crossings grant. That was planned for the worst, hope for the best. I know I did have the commissioner feeling real good about it, because there's $140 million in applications submitted, and they awarded $100 million, so $20 million that was not the communities that did not get anything, we received $1 million max. So.
Good deal.
Proud of that one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Surprise, everything. We found that out Thursday, so that's a big one.
I think it deserves a round of applause. What he's not saying about himself, because he's fairly humble, is that we were one of the few communities to receive this $1 million contribution from community grants. And he also played a big role. He's a man who took the bull by the horns and led this county through this process. So if you don't mind a second round, I would appreciate it. Thank you, Matt.
He's gonna get the big head.
Not at all. And I know Princeton, they did get awarded, over $100,000, I think, for all the project they're doing, and I think also got some money too. So we're not the only ones in the county. Last fall, I helped Somerville with Ymca, Owensville with theirs. That community crossing is, it's been big for this county. I'm glad to see it keep going.
Well, you, sir, are greatly appreciated by your commissioners and your county.
Any questions for me? And I'll jump in here a little bit. But... Good.
Thank you. Do we have any other department heads with us this evening? Sheriff Bottoms?
Just want to tell you, I forgot a while ago that the Pelican did get the water softeners installed.
It did?
Good.
A couple of days longer than they expected to get done.
Okay. Good deal.
Glad to hear that. Did you have any hiccups along the way or anything, or did they all take care of it pretty timely and?
So a couple of days ago, we're getting it installed, but I was gone that week when they put it in.
Oh, gotcha.
Or I know everything went well, otherwise it's perfect fine.
Good. I'll have to remember that for future business, if they took care of you. Good. If there are no other reports, I'm going to move forward and transition to the commissioner's old business. And we have with us this evening, the Gibson County Correctional Center owner's representative, Mr. Byron Sanders. Mr. Sanders, would you come forward, please?
Appreciate it. I'm going to give you a brief update on, about 2 meetings ago, we talked about starting the schematic design process. And so it's jumped out there and moving quite along. And I'll just keep you current on what's been going on basically behind the scenes. They held a meeting with the sheriff and his staff on the 28th. Meeting minutes have been distributed for review and looked over. In the process of that, in those interviews, they developed a program. And this is being reviewed to make sure we can refine. And in this review, they addressed the head count, bed requirements, space required, and included space for administration, roll control, intake processing, medical, confinement housing, program meeting room, chapels, kitchen, food preparation, laundry, mechanical, electrical support, community corrections, and dispatch space. They looked at existing, what do we need to make this, just from overall square footage. So they've got that information. It's still in the process of being reviewed with the sheriff. They are also creating these, the design criteria requirements for the House Bill number 1019. It's a requirement the state has now that we have to present in a public forum the feasibility study. That's what we're going to look at, and we look at surrounding county opportunities and and review that and bring it to you in a formal manner and let the public comment on it and kind of the threshold where we need to have that done before we do construction documents. We don't want to proceed construction documents. Push back on that. That's moving along very, very well. Arcade is doing that. They have they're hired a kitchen consultant. They're going to be on site 28th and they're preparing a report. They're looking at the information that they've completed. They're looking at different scenarios on the site, interconnecting with existing, demolishing areas south of the street and so on and so forth. So they're developing that. They've done quite a bit of the due diligence on site utilities, environment, be it a parcel, have any wetlands, or are they in a floodplain, floodway, parcels or zoning. They've looked at that. There's no overlay districts. There's a water sewer map shows that there's got plenty of existing lines. The sanitary sewer between the two parcels, it may have to be relocated, but not a big issue. And the stormwater management, we may have to put a holding tank in it. It's a city requirement. So the stormwater sewer just doesn't rush to the sewer, it holds in a tank and then leaches out. So a lot of progress has been made on that, and I'm anticipating a lot more. Our goal is to bring in with good decisions moving along fairly rapidly and no showstoppers. We hope to bring the concept forward to you in early July or late June, depending on timing out of your meeting. And with that, we'll have a concept, a high level detail of the size of the building, the location, entrances, exits, doors, how it relates to administration area, to the jail cell, the size, the beds, and the cost. So we'd say, hopefully you'll hear us say, this concept, sheriff likes it, meets all the program requirements, gives us growth, and it's on the budget that we kind of preliminarily established. That's a big milestone, but we're optimistically looking forward. I mentioned to you, Du Bois County is building jail right now. They just got bids in probably last month. Once we find out how much space we'll need for confinement space, how much we'll need for all space, I'm gonna find out what their bids were and the per square foot rate, tax extrapolate that to what our size is, to do a double check, because it's all about the climate of the bids,
Right.
I put a bid together, but I can't get a contractor to bid at that price. I'm stuck, but that'll give us a good check the temperature of what the market's doing right now, and that's closer. So I'm gonna follow on. So that is the planning and the schematic design development. Another just I think it's a very important information. This is a copy I sent to most key members here. It's the second report I sent the sheriff on the to the courts regarding the status of our jail construction in compliance with the settlement agreement. We reported, I think, in January. A little. As soon as I got on board, we tried. I sent them. I sent the over here the schedule that we're going to try to be working up against. If we can get the schematic conceptual done here by the end of June, we'll be on track. I resubmitted that schedule, and our attorney Karen Pollock sent it to the plaintiff's attorney in the courts. Talks about our first design meetings. It reiterates the schedule. She talked about the fact that we are also looking at the fact that, steel prices are going up, steel manufacturing is extended. We want to get this project going, so we hope we maybe possibly break out some bid packages early so we can do the site foundation work. She's signifying that to the courts that we're doing every strategy we can to comply with a settlement agreement, and based on what she's saying about that, we're good standing. And she'll do another one of these in July. So we have good news to report that. So that's a good news. Finally, I want to just kind of cover one important area here. We talked about, settlement agreement, compliance, that's a key piece. The design, that's a key piece. And we want to now get ready to start. How are we going to build this thing and do it the best of our ability and use the best strategies we can? I've given for each of you a little copy of what I'm talking about, but I want to talk about project delivery systems and how we deliver the project. Because what I'd like to do at the end of my quick overview is to let's move forward and maybe advertising for the next step. It costs us no money, but I just want to make sure that everybody's moving in the right direction. I sent this to what we would call maybe an executive administration committee that we established, talked about in the first meeting. Given them this pre-read as well. So the background is, we've heard about project delivery methods, and somebody goes, well, I think I know what that means, but really what it's all about. There are three main phases to a project: planning, designing, and building it. And there are three main entities of that. There's the owner, there's the designer, and there's the builder. Now, how you interact with those people is critical, and it needs to be. And there's all the ways that it's done, can be done, are good in certain applications. One of the most common one you've already heard of is design, bid, build. You draw all the plans, you bid it, and you build it. Now, that's usually called a hard bid. Some of the shortfalls with that, and everyone has short disadvantages in it. Once some of the shortfalls with that, we could spend a lot of money in doing the design, and we bid it. oh my gosh, bids coming over budget. We spent time and money to get to the point where we gotta back it up. That's one of the main concerns with the design bid and build project. It also, there's some other methods where I've always liked to do this. I've done it, whether it's personal construction. I've always liked to, as we get an architect doing the drawings, I like to get it. I want to just say, for example, as the architect does the drawings, I like to go over to Du Bois County and say, let's use that project as a metric yard. I like to find contractors to tell me, I can build it for that. When I'm doing estimates, I said, there's something wrong with my estimate. What do you see? In the design bid build, the general contractor doesn't get an input until he's bidding. He hasn't seen the drawings. I've done these and where I've had contractors walking around looking at me bid day and they're going, you should have done this that way. Or they love to do that too. They love to override architect. But you get that second guessing that goes on. There's some other methods where we can engage the contractor part of this piece with the design. There's other delivery methods called design build. Now, design build is where the owners, yourself, you'll have a contract either with an architect or with a general contractor. You'll have one contract. Those two will have a contract with each other. Now, that works on a fast track project, and if you're building, I would use an example. If you're building a warehouse, warehouse to warehouse, there's not critical design issues, and they move forward. So the shortfalls with that is that the general contractor, he's incentivized to make substitute materials, drive costs down for his profit. That can sometimes conflict with the owner who's really caring about quality.
Right.
And also, one thing that the contractor and they're all good guys, but the contractor and the general contractor, they're partners. They're partners. There's two against the owner. Sometimes the owner's leverage is compromised with these two entities kind of pushing forward. So I think also you lose a lot of checks and balances. I mean, as we do this, now we're going to schematic design, you're going to look at it. We're going to do some other pieces, we're going to show you that. There's checks and balances along the way that you do when you own an architect, you own a contract, and I want to see this right now, I want to know this right now. When it's a design build, you lose some of that. Now that I want to get right down to the other methods is construction management. When we interview the architects, we ask every architect, you've done this more than we've done. What do you feel is the best delivery? They do all of these. Every one of them, even the ones that didn't get the job, said construction manager. And I think one of the early community input meetings, I forget the gentleman's name, and he said he's done a lot of projects. He said you need to get a construction manager. And I normally that's take out the branch salt a little bit, but as I looked at it, the construction manager role here is this. Construction manager, there's two types. There's construction manager at risk, what they call him, construction manager at constructor. He's similar to a contractor. He acts as the owner's representative during not only the design but the construction. The construction manager as constructor, he separates the design and the building process, but they get involved in the beginning. They get involved to be a cost controller, look for constructability, to the architect recommendations on what might be a better process for them to get that done. And the one of the reasons for construction manager as contractor, they will even go so far as to become, they will commit to a price for the project. If that project is about 60% completed design, they say, I think this project is going to be $15 million. Now, I'll guarantee that with a guarantee management. This puts all the risk on if the price runs over that service. They will, in turn, with the schedule. If there are savings, they split. They don't keep the savings. The general contractor design bid build, he can save money if he gets all that in his pocket. In a construction manager as a contractor, if there are savings, they split that with you on. So there's some advantages there. The other one is construction manager as advisor. I've done projects in this manner too. They're both construction managers are your ally, they're your construction expert. The one thing I want to point out, construction manager advisor does not own the contracts to the project. He doesn't own them. You own them. To make that effective, you need to have some good experience in managing a project. And, you know, again, I'm not about selling myself, truthfully. Any way this goes better, I've worked with projects where the owner needed somebody a little more construction experience, and I worked as owner's rep to help with that, with the CMA process. But I also found that, you know, no matter how hard they drove the schedule, how much they came to the meetings, that, you know, we've got 3 months, they don't own the contract.
Mhm.
And, you know, some of the gents, they go, that's not my schedule, throw it in the trash and walk out. The owner can come in and say, listen, I'm gonna tell you guys, if you don't get this done, I'm gonna hold your pay. Money speaks. So in a CMA, if you have an owner's rep on that project, you can still manage the leverage with money. If you're a CMC where the construction manager at risk, he owns your contracts, and the same end result. They have pressure on those subcontractors who can push it. So in all that said, we don't need to decide whether we're doing CMA or CMC. I think my recommendation is based on the above. I feel it would be best interest of the county to advertise and solicit interest from qualified construction management firms to help support our project. So that's my recommendation, and if you would approve that, I'll draft up an advertisement, let you see it, and we'll go the first step and see what kind of interest we have. Once we get the interest, we'll maybe do some qualifications, have they done projects of our size, and then we'll go to an RFP. And I hope that I can be able to get that done at the same time that conceptual, the schematics get done. So we're ready to start doing some design development documents in July. We'd maybe have a CM on board that can be helping with that design cost effective. So try to keep it as brief as I could, but I would like to recommend that. I don't know appropriate protocol for that, but if I could recommend that, and you would say, okay, or make a proposal or request, or let me know later. Then I'll draft up an advertisement, let you see it. Yes, sir.
When will we make the decision on CMC or CMA?
Well, the way I would propose to do it is we were gonna have some presentations with some CM companies and some timing. And that was gonna be timing after this meeting. So the way I would like to do it is advertise for construction management firms. And I think it will qualify a nice, good group, qualified group. And then I think this part of their RFP and pre-part RFP, we would let them come and make a presentation. And they might say, based on your project, I think we should do a CMA or CMC. They may say either one. I think then we'll have the data and information we need to know to say what we'll set in our internal group, say, you know, this is what I would like. This is what I think would save us the best money, minimize our risk, or vice versa. So I think we'll have that between advertising, qualifying the group. Let's say we have 4 or 5 really good. Let them come in then and make some presentation to us. Talk to us about the difference between CMC and CMA. And then once we have that, then I'll put the RFP together accordingly. And we'll make an RFP for a CMC or CMA.
So Jason, we need to make a motion to have him do this.
Yes,
Okay.
please do.
Well, I make the motion that we allow Byron to go ahead and check this out and get it going.
Okay, I'll send you a draft of the advertisement. Let you tweak it.
So this means we've decided on the site.
I'm sorry.
Does this mean we've decided on the site?
No, ma'am. No, that's part of the design development process that I
Okay.
hope they'll come in. Schematic design will come in hopefully in July, June, and say, this is the footprint of the building. It fits on this side or it doesn't, you know, that's part of this other exercise that's going here. I want to get this delivery method going, whether we build it here or in, you know, on the fairgrounds. You know, I want to get this CM. So once we decide where, this team comes together and that's the way we deliver. So no.
We have a motion made here, and I wanted to ask you a question before I ask for a second or anything.
Sure.
By establishing, my first read, my first inclination is to favor the CMC. So, and my question is, does it help you or does it help our process if we predetermine that? Will this eliminate or weed out some of those groups that maybe
Yeah.
don't like to play that role?
Yeah, and I'll do everything I can to give you enough information to make that decision. I mean, I did a real high level brief overview. We can talk about the pros and cons and really get into this. And if at the end of the day, you say, I still don't have enough to make that decision, Byron. And I'll say, well, let's let some guys that make a living doing this and talk.
Mhm.
Right.
But I'd love it if I could help you just know enough information, because it's on,
Right.
on the right.
Right.
I never want somebody to make a decision with not enough information or bad information.
Mhm.
So I'll give you, I'll start along with the advertisement. I'll start, see who's interested. I mean, most companies, are familiar, if there's construction manager, are familiar with both. Some have done both, but I'd like for us to be the driver of that decision. But I'll give you information, I'll write up, very clearly the difference between the two. I was previously trying to explain design bid build, there's owner transfer, there's several delivery methods. I think these are the top ones. Somebody might say, well, why did you do design bid build? Well, how we got the drawings completely done with bids. A lot of this is what we got up against. I think cost. Always somebody, I'm all about accountability. I want to put the accountability on architect, construction manager, and people. If they're the experts, by gosh, you deliver this daggone thing. Use your expertise. You guys are experts being political government leaders, and you don't require to be an expert in construction. But let's put some heat on them. I always like to flavor your contracts, your favor, not their favor. So I think we could make that decision of CMC versus CMA. I'll give you a lot of information. I'll give you my thoughts. My thoughts are on good as either one of your thoughts. But we'll work on it. I love to expedite that. Warren, that's a good, thanks for that opportunity. Any question?
Sure. I'm just thinking, whatever we can do to improve the process, or maybe determine that as soon as possible. And maybe some of them will not be as interested in the project, or maybe that someone will tell us that, we don't like that role per se. And it's, I just want to be clear and move the process along.
Yeah, and a way to do that would be advertise it, see who responds, and then in that meantime, before the RFP out, we put our RFP together, it goes, we have now decided to request for proposal to work on this project as a construction manager at risk, construction manager advisor. And we tell them right then, and some of them might go, that's not our expertise, we're not ready, we don't have the financial working for to fund a $20 million project, so.
Yeah.
That'll cut some amount, if we can tell them that in advance, yes, so I think between the RFP and by asking you today and giving me, I'd love to have this decided by July. This gives us some time to make good decisions, and not rush a decision. I'm not calling you guys and, hey, look, you guys gotta be here today, because I got no tomorrow. That's kind of what it was, do the things. You guys are very cooperative. I'm trying to take some of the pressure off you and the sheriff and everybody's got their day jobs.
Sure.
But, okay.
Well, we do have a motion on the floor to move forward and advertise to these construction management firms and see through that process. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Sanders. On to new business, advertisement for paving bids, 2021. Mr. Holden?
Especially with kind of delay with NDOT awarding this grant, I need to move very quickly. This is a project that we're awarded Thursday. I'd like to be paid in summer. So I've got the community crossing grant, which was $1 million of theirs. Our match is $380,000. So I got that project, and then we have also money that's netted that we do 100% local funded paving with. It's $600,000. I can't bid them together because community crossing grants got to get handled on one project. So I'm actually putting two projects out for advertisement as two completely separate different projects. They're both paving projects. I need to get your guys' permission to advertise for them, get that process going with the bid process. So I don't know if you want to do both in one or.
Yeah, go ahead and
The local funded and the community crossings grant together in one motion, and then they are separate advertisements and separate bids.
Also move for the two advertisements.
Second.
Motion made in second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 And I'll start with getting advertisements to tomorrow.
Excellent.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next up, on our agenda, Margot English with the Owensville Carnegie Public Library Board, in regards to the use of some TIF dollars. And, welcome this evening. It's nice to meet you, and, we appreciate you coming in, and, would like to turn it over to you at this point, and feel free to proceed, yeah.
Okay, I left three folders in some.
Yes, ma'am.
Those were my original tip requests, and it's got some pictures of the library and the columns where we experienced. We're 1917 building. We have not had any of this whatsoever, so if you want to picture of that, you can't put a yardstick ladder in it. So it's narrow. We don't have an elevator, so we have some issues with that. Getting patients, patients to the right places sometimes. Storage is a problem, meeting space is a problem.
Beautiful library, I might add. It's a beautiful facility.
And you gotta break them. So before COVID, we had planned a $900,000 addition to the library with the bathrooms, meeting spaces, more space for programming, and things got a little crazy with that. So we put that on hold, and that's the TIF money was to go to that project. Since then, across the street, a building has come available for $185,000. It will meet 95% of our needs. It is inconvenient because it is across the street, but it will add us meeting space, it will add us programming space, it will give us a kitchen, it will give us ADA bathrooms. Not exactly where they need to be all the time, but ADA bathrooms, offices, it's just amazing. So we are wondering if we could apply the $100,000 and any other additional money we would like to give us for this building, and we can do that, to this building, to buy that. We feel it would be a more responsible use of money to buy this building as opposed to building, because with building costs, it's just crazy stuff. This has just been something we are so excited about, and we hope that you will be excited about it too.
Sure. It's a lot to digest, and again, I love the facade of this building. It's a beautiful library. And maybe at this point, and I would ask my fellow commissioners to chime in too, but maybe at this point, it would be wise for us to look through all your documentation and be respectful and read it all through.
Okay.
And then also at the same time, and fellow commissioners, you might advise me on this too. Direct you to the redevelopment commission, because if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying that you're looking for a revision or potentially a difference in your request for the TIF funding. And I would think we would want to share that with them. Are you familiar with that process? I mean, you've gone through it a couple of years ago, but.
I am familiar with that, and I went through the process
Okay.
before.
I just want to be helpful to you.
Contacted them.
Oh, great, great.
If we could use the money for that and got.
Oh, not great. Very good. I would ask at this time, and the other commissioners may direct you another way too, so I'd like for them to chime in if they need to. I would ask that you reach out to Attorney Jim McDonald. He's the attorney for the redevelopment commission, and get on their agenda. They have a meeting coming up here very soon. We actually have a board member with us in attendance this evening, Mr. Larry Mickle, and they're a great group of guys, and I'm sure they would be more than willing to read through or peruse some of this information and consider this project.
I've already been here, and I've asked them.
Oh, you've been recently.
Yes, like last week.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, I didn't go to the meeting.
Oh, that's what I'm suggesting. Okay.
I have talked to.
Sure.
And I have talked to different fellows.
I see.
Here tonight.
I think, oh, go ahead, Ms.
Yes.
Interesting.
Well, my question is, is that the first approach was to make the library building ADA compliant, handicap compliant, with bathroom and elevator and that. I don't see where, I mean, I understand where you're coming from with this building, but that doesn't make the library building itself accessible.
No, it does add the spaces, a lot of times the spaces we have meetings like programming and things like that, that will be ADA. Or in the building, and spaces is one of our big problems. So it will make, we will be ADA for some activities, but not for all.
Well, I need to look over, I mean, you know, we got your previous letter and then I understood what you were coming for. But I would definitely want to look over everything
So then I think
here in your packet to, you know,
that is my old proposal, so I think I would need to resubmit a proposal to you. It will tell you exactly what we're getting and what we want, what the vision will be.
well, I think that would help. I can't say I'm opposed to it. I'm a little concerned, confused about making the library itself
Well, we're hoping,
ADA compliant.
so with this addition,
Mhm.
this building,
Yeah.
$185,000, it will completely manage to serve all our needs except for the elevator and that, and this. So if you look at the elevator costs, I've been told 300,000.
Oh, yeah, they're
So
ridiculous.
300,000 plus $184,000 becomes a very economical and responsible way for us to spend our money, as opposed to the $900,000 that we would do if we had to put it all together.
To add it on. Yeah, I understand that, so.
But we can't, I mean, putting the elevators and the ADA in the bathrooms in would just be a small part of what we need, which we could still, you know, if you don't feel comfortable with us applying this to the building, then we'll find another way to do the building. But we're trying to be very responsible, I think is not word, responsible, and make sure our money goes as far as it is, and that is buying a building and then later on.
So it's not giving up the hope of putting in the elevator and the bathrooms and that in the library itself.
No,
It's just basically eliminating the addition to the library building for these other purposes.
right.
Okay,
Right,
okay.
yeah, we could, today, we could move into that addition or that building and use it today.
Uh-huh.
It is perfect for what we need. Then we could work on getting an elevator. With, there's some huge library grants coming from the federal government next year.
Mhm.
that I've been hearing about for buildings, so I'm certain that the 1917 building with no elevator would be very. But right now, we're desperate for space, and that's what this building is.
Okay.
It's space and genealogy room and a room for people to study and a people for. different things
Right,
like that.
right. Okay, yeah, I understand it a little better then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did you have a question, Margot?
So did Phil give you some guidance on what to do?
I called him and talked to him, and he asked him a couple, and I got no answer at all from either one of them ever. And I re-asked and got no answer. And I said, should I go to commissioner again? And he gave me the meeting.
Redevelopment, the next redevelopment meeting is the next Monday, 9 to 10 at 6 o'clock here.
Right, but it sounds like I need to go through this process again, right?
I think you probably need to make
I think so.
both, yes, I think so, and I think you probably need to make both groups aware of your project. I know in recent projects, they've gone to both groups and explained their projects and in some cases even provided budgets, which I'm sure you have at this point.
I do have a budget, I have an architect.
And I regret them not getting back with you. But just going forward, just know that we are more than happy to hear your request and
Okay.
So
it's my understanding that I need approval from you first, and then I go to the redevelopment.
I would say, I've never been through this process before as far as changing it, but I would think so because the first approval and request from us was the original project. And this is really all in all, it's a pretty good size change difference. And I think they would want to know that we don't have a problem with it. But I would still like some time to review, or, and if you have any more information, get it to us.
I will, I'll get you a lot more information, but I think the
Okay.
key information about this project with this new building is less than half of what was before.
Right, right.
And that's huge. With your using taxpayer money.
What is your projected cost with the new building and any kind of updates that you might do at the library? I guess, what's the overall budget for this?
It would be less than 500,000 when it was 900 before.
That's with the purchase of the new building and any other improvements that you think you need to make there. Does this new structure have, and you may have already said it, so I apologize, but does the new structure have an elevator?
The one that we want to buy?
Yes, ma'am.
No, it does not have an elevator. There's only one room upstairs. That would be that you can use as an event space. There's no offices or bathroom. Well, there is a bathroom upstairs. It's also ADA, but that problem can be easily, it's supposed to be the lift chair. The way that it was designed for a lift chair, it's a very long, very low slope. I mean, it's stairway. So that would be easily fixed with that, but you could also easily not move that room if you needed to be accessed by someone with disabilities. Because there are other reasons.
I see. And the lift chair is really not an option in our current library.
Not much you want to put it on a marble wall.
Say it again.
Unless you want to put it on a marble wall. Do a transfer.
Where's the building at relative to the library? What direction?
It's straight across the street to the west, to the east.
To the east.
It would be it's parish in something.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
And it's perfect. It's just perfect. It has everything we need already.
Your proposal is to change your tip, asking for the, I think it's a 900,000, 500,000.
No, I didn't get approved for 900. I only got approved for 100,000.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, and I mean, I would like for you to consider 185 for purchasing this building, but if we can't do that, that's fine. But what I'm asking for is that instead of applying it to an elevator, we apply it to the purchase of this building. It's not the end of the world with it. We will still manage to obtain the building without that change, and then the tip money could be held for the elevator later.
So you were approved for a little over $100,000, I think it was, correct?
100,000.
And then this property that you're wanting to purchase was how much? 180?
185.
Okay, 185. So really what you're wanting to do is to amend your proposal to the TIF, the redevelopment committee, and to the commissioners, and ask for an additional appropriation, if you will, of $85,000 on top of the 100,000.
That's not approved then. I appreciate that.
So what you want is approval to change it from the library itself and for the, let's just put it as the elevator, to go towards the purchase of this.
Right.
And if we want to include a possible addition, but not tying it to the addition. Correct?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got lost.
You want us to say, okay, the 100,000 that you got was for basically, like I said, the elevator to be switched to a change order to put that 100,000 towards the building. And if we would choose to say the possibility of an additional 85,000 to go to the purchase of the building, but definitely the $100,000 change. Okay.
That is exactly.
Okay. It's kind of a double request.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is. It is a very double. And we are very committed to serving our public as much as we can. We've got people that are struggling to get in and
Mm-hmm.
take them stuff like houses. We are going to do everything we can. But we just can't manufacture a place to have a study room.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not a place. We're just.
Well, this would make a computer lab over there accessible to anybody that would need handicap. And that, as opposed to having to, yeah.
Seeing them on a justice life.
In some of your earlier address, you mentioned providing, there was a part in our dialogue there where you mentioned providing different options to us with these different amounts. Is that something, will you provide that to us, email that to us when it's available? Okay. So it looks like, and correct me if I'm wrong or anyone, but it looks like the process would be for you to come back to our next meeting. And after that time, we would have time to, and we will have time to look back at your different proposals. And I don't want to push you too hard either, but maybe it's not the next meeting, maybe it's the following. You can update us on timeline, but we'll be able to look at your options, look at the feasibility of them, consult with our redevelopment commission and say, is this something that's feasible? Is this something that fits within our TIF guidelines and everything? And then you come back to, if not the next meeting, the following meeting and get some input from us. Does that sound reasonable to you?
Absolutely.
And as soon as you can, of course, get that other information gathered for us, we can study it that much longer. Maybe get it done ahead of time.
Yes, thank you.
Did you have a question, Bruce?
Really, the simplest way to do that would be for her to, and go to the redevelopment commission and cancel, basically, or through you guys, cancel the old one and have you present a new one, because the commissioners with $100,000 sent it to the board, added half of the 100,000, unless they've changed things since I was on there. The redevelopment commission cannot add to an existing. They can reduce it, but they can't add to it. So that means that this board would have to approve a $185,000 project to go back to the board, and then they would void the $100,000, basically just transfer the money over.
I believe Bruce is right about that. And I didn't want it to be perceived as I was giving you the runaround, but I just felt like that was a right procedure for you to go back to them and say, I'm canceling this one and going to come up with a new proposal. But that's why I was kind of taken back when they sent her back to us directly.
Well, I didn't ask the question. I just got hold of that.
Okay. Now to get on their agenda, it's a matter of calling Jim McDonald and asking to be placed on the agenda, just to help you out a little bit in the process. But I think, I really do believe that would be the right process to go through, is to go to them and tell them, things have changed. I'm going to be proposing a new project, and let's just clear it.
Okay. Can definitely do that.
You make sure you call Jim McDonald's office before noon on Friday.
Yes,
Okay, I will do that.
they're pretty tough about that, yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right, I believe we have another person here to talk to us today, Laura Hoppe with Fort Branch Johnson Township Public Library, another TIF request, if you will.
Yes, another library too.
Laura, before you begin, I have to ask you, your heart is symbolic of something, of someone. And I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I believe that someone's pretty dear to my family as well. Do you mind saying a piece about her, or is that?
So about 7, 8, 9 days ago, we have a clerk at the library who collapsed at her home. She's 56, and she has worked for the library for 13 years. She has helped preschool programs. She has helped these young children. She was a substitute teacher prior to that. She lost her life on Friday, and we will be celebrating her life on Thursday. That she will be dearly missed, to say the least. A shock to all of us. Tough. Donna's great woman, and if you guys know her at all, I don't think I've ever met anyone that would disagree.
On behalf of the commissioners and Gibson County, I would just like to extend to Donna Draper, her family, and the library family down there, our greatest condolences. And like you said, she was an angel in the community, right? I mean, anyone knew her, you were blessed to know her. She was such a sweet and gentle person, Donna Draper. And so thank you for sharing that experience. And I just ask everyone to be thinking of her and her family. Keep them in your prayers. Yeah.
Well, I came with PowerPoint presentation. I always feel like statistics and pictures serve a better story. So my name is Laura Hoppe, I'm from Fort Branch, Johnson Township Public Library. This is Crystal Smith, back from Back Road. She's our treasurer, and so if you have any finance questions, they will be directed towards her. So I can do this. Today's objectives is I'm going to show you how our patrons in our town use our library. I want to educate you on the changes we've already made at our library, and I'm going to provide you with information about our future plans. So the Fort Branch Johnson Township Public Library is actually made up of 2 libraries. So we have a library system. We have one library that sits in Fort Branch and the second that sits in Hoppe. So tonight when I talk about the Fort Branch Library, we are a system, so it will include numbers from both libraries because that's how we operate this one system. Okay, so what do the numbers tell us? These statistics that I'm getting ready to share with you are public. Public is able to get them. The NES State Library puts them out. They don't have 2020 numbers out yet. I don't know how appropriate 2020 numbers would even be, so we won't have 2019. And in Gibson County, we have 4 libraries. Serves about 12,000, and we serve 82. Owensville and Open City serve about half of us. So for tonight's purposes, I want to be able to compare you to someone that you'd be familiar with. I told you that we circulated 60,000 physical items in 2019. That number means nothing. So I want to be able to show you how we compare with other libraries in town. So number of programs offered in-house. I want to talk about in-house programs. Our larger library in Gibson County is in gray, and the yellow is Fort Branch. It would be my library. In-house programs versus going off-site to get programs, because I want to talk about what we do in our library, in our physical library. So this is looking at their in-house programming and our in-house programming. You can see that we don't provide as many programs, but the ratio of what we provide for the age group is similar. So now if you look at this slide talks about the attendance of those in-house programs. So in our last slide, you can see we didn't provide as many programs, but our attendance is much greater. Circulation of electronic items. This is talking about ebooks, audiobooks. These are things that people do not have to go into the library to get. They can, as long as they have internet at their home or wherever they may be, they can download those items. So these are not physical items. And you can tell that the larger library in Gibson County serves a population that wants that more than the people that I serve. Circulation of physical items. So now when I tell you that in 2019, our library circulated over 60,000 physical items, then you have something to compare that to. So these numbers tell us what? These numbers tell us that our patrons that we are serving want in-person programming. They're coming. They want that type of programming. We tried some electronic programming, Zoom meetings. It did not go well. That is not what our people are wanting. Our patrons come to the library and they use our physical resources. So even though we do have electronic books, we have electronic audiobooks, you can see the numbers, our patrons are not utilizing those as much as they are physical resources. So I want to talk to you just about our Fort Branch campus. So our Fort Branch campus, the picture on the left is our Carnegie Building, and it will be 104 years old this year. It housed books for 103 years. How many businesses can say they used the same building for 103 years for the same purpose? Unless you're Margot. You can't.
Yeah, not many.
The only other one in the room. So next to it, this building was built in 2001, and it's right next door to our Carnegie. It is a large programming space, computer lab, and handicap accessible bathrooms, but these two buildings are not connected. This is a bird's eye view of our campus. So you can see, I don't know if I can, what did I do? There we go. You can see the Fort Branch Public Library is there. Next to it is our learning center. We did that. So that's the library, that's our learning center. Behind it is this house right here that he's pointing at. The library purchased in 2019. In 2020, we took the building down and we have the land prepared for, so that it can be built on the next day. And then we have green space, which sits behind the Carnegie Library. And then I also want to draw to your attention that we share the same block with the Fort Branch gym, or the community center in Fort Branch. And we'll get back to that. So I want to show you how we use our spaces. This is our green space. This is an after-school program that we have. We have it all year long. Traditionally, it's been one time a month. The numbers have gotten so large, we couldn't handle that many children at a time, so we had to make it twice a month and divide up the age group. So we did that in 2019. This is our large programming room that's in our learning center. And so this is travel time. This is for 2-year-olds. It's a 10-week program. It is when a parent, a mom or a dad or a grandparent or an aunt can come in. They come in once a week for 10 weeks, and they learn letters and numbers and all those types of things. They learn how to interact with each other. And we use that large programming room for that. We also, the programming room is used for middle school. It is used for high school students. This is adults using that same space, so it's very versatile. We can use it many different ways. Here they're putting crafts together, and they're having an adult game day. Also in this room, I just wanted to let you know, like Purdue Extension Office came in 2019. They gave 2 different programs. We had a grant writing program that was attended by 60 people. They also came in and did a fall prevention program for seniors, and that was also well attended. I can say there were 35 there. I can't remember that number. But in the summertime, this is what that room looks like. So on the left, you can see the kids. That's our beginning of our summer reading program. And 7 weeks later, we had our ending program. And you can see how full that room is and how well attended it was. Now I want to talk about the Carnegie Building. So all that took place in the Learning Center. This is our Carnegie Building. And this is a little bit of what Margot was talking about. If you look at these front doors, you have to walk up those stairs to get in those front doors. And then once you're in the front doors, you have 2 choices. You can go up more steps or you can go down more steps. And those are your choices. So what are our needs? I hope that looking at these statistics and looking at these pictures, you agree with me that we have some needs. We need to make our library accessible to everyone. And I don't even want to say handicap accessible. Today we had a mom pushing her kid in a stroller. You can't get a stroller in, and I don't consider her handicapped, but that stroller made her handicapped. And then we need to continue our in-person programming because that's what our people are asking for. So what has the library already done to address these needs? So in 2019, I showed you the ending of our summer reading program. In January 1 of 2020, we opened the Learning Center, that same programming. We have moved our books out of our Carnegie. We have put them in that large programming space. We did that because that eliminates all steps. There are also handicapped bathrooms in this building. more user friendly. One thing I want you to note here is if you can see that little table sitting in there, that is the only table we have in that space. So while we made the library accessible, we are still so limited in space that we can even, adults don't even have a chair to sit down when they come into the library. This is our new programming space. These are two separate tables. You can see it's after school daycare again, but that fills the whole room. So it's about half of the size of that other room. And while we were prepared to make changes to our programs to fit in this room, social distancing has just thrown a whole new wrench into that. And it has really made us think about adding space more quickly. It's more urgent now that we need social distancing. We initiated a program in January 2020 in this room, and I didn't have a picture of it. I can't believe I didn't take a picture. It's for senior citizens. It's chair exercises. We started it 2 days a week. We had 25 to 30 people show up in this room. 25 to 30 people 2 times a week. Our senior citizens are definitely in need of something in that area. Of course, when COVID shut us down, so we have started that program back in August of 2020, but now we limit it to 10 people. So we have 15 people that were coming to us twice a week that we can no longer service. So other things that we have done, we have interviewed and we've already hired an architect to address our lack of space. I met with the Fort Ridge Community Center board, the old gym board. I met with them last Saturday night to talk to them about their changes and what they're looking at. Because quite frankly, we're still in the same block. And if they're gonna build a large programming room, I don't need a large programming room. Maybe I just need an agreement with them to use it 3 days a week for our different activities. And I would pay them money rather than me building it, paying electric for it, paying heat, paying all of that. I'll use their space. And then we also talked about parking, and we use their parking during the day, they use our parking at night. So really think they were very receptive, really think we need to work together. I think that block can become a hub for our community. So rather than building the same type of space, I just want to be able to work with them and work with those things together. So I wanted to show you how our patrons used our library. Even though we are in an electronic age where people think that we need libraries anymore, libraries don't just house books. We do a lot more than housing books. We do a lot of programs for people in our area. And as you can see from the pictures and the statistics, that they're responding. I wanted to educate you on the changes we have already made at the library. So we've already bought property. We've talked about moving the books out of the Carnegie to make them more accessible. And we're making plans for the future with an architect. So our library future plans. So this is back to that block, where the library is. So what I have a red circle around now, the people who own this property signed a contract with us and they plan on selling us this property, and hopefully we will have it closed before the end of the month. So tonight, I am asking you for consideration to assist us with using TIF money to help us purchase that land and also prepare it so that we can use it to build on. We have been talking about these plans for 3 years. These are part of our long-term goals that we set 3 years ago. This isn't anything new. This is something we're working on. Why do I come to you now and ask for money now? The reason is because the social distancing has really made it more urgent for us to get space. And we need it sooner rather than later. So while we could cover the cost of that, that will deplete our savings. So then when we go to look for a grant, we're not going to be able to have that match. We thought we'd have time to save up a little more money for that match, but we need space. We need space now. you have any questions?
You may have it in the literature, just didn't see it yet. How much is the property?
So between the property, purchasing the property and then taking the house down, the buildings down and preparing it, we would be asking for 170.
How soon would you want to start on this project? I know, and Larry can attest to this probably better than me, but I know that, we just approved $14 million for a Toyota parking lot. That was actually done back before I was in office. But I know they're still paying on that, and that they're gonna be paying throughout this whole next year on that. Then after that, we have the YMCA project, which I'm sure we're well aware of. Great project coming to Princeton, but gonna serve the entire county. And then we also have, of course, the teen center that you referred to, or old gym project. And I mean, there's still money on the table. I don't want to say, Laura, no way.
Understand.
I'm just saying, what's your timeline and
Well, I mean, we will have to go to the council and ask for appropriations for us to be able to utilize the money that we do have in savings, but as far as building, I hope to break ground in a year. That's my goal. How realistic is that? It'll probably be a year and a half. I realize that. But I hope by a year and a half. we'll break it down.
and your long-term plan there is to clear that out, and then where would you add on?
Well, that's why we burned it down.
Okay, sure.
I have a lot of great ideas and great plans.
So you're still putting your heads together a little
We
bit?
still are.
Okay.
We still are. We're looking at the size, and then, when Toyota announced this week that they're adding that many more jobs, that, we have to be realistic to know that our probably gonna grow a little bit more. So while we're building, we may need to think about increasing in size a little bit more than our original costs were with that.
Well, the Owensville Library has a project. I think Oakland City, they already helped them some for a project. Princeton's has an amazing library.
Yeah, we toured it a couple weeks ago.
And then I keep thinking in the back of my head, maybe someone in here, if you can catch me after the meeting, could fill me in a little better. But I keep thinking that Mount Olympus gym is a gem, GEM, that's a treasure. And I keep thinking there's gotta be some good people up there that have some needs too. So, I mean, ideally, what I'm thinking is if we can do a little something in every area of our county and show people that we care about them, and it's just a thought. It's just a thought. But I'll zip it and let these folks ask any questions they have. If they have any.
Well, I can't say I have any questions. It sounds like you guys really thought this through and figured things out, taking a step forward. I realize you want to do this fast, but I'd like, some time to look and see what you have and,
No problem. You should have all of the slides that I showed you.
okay.
And I emailed you guys earlier in the week, so you should have my email and it's
Yep.
on the part. So don't hesitate to call or email me.
Will you keep us up to date on your drawings and stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. We just didn't want to start drawings until we knew we had the property, because that would completely change what the drawings could look like and do. So, we have been in touch with them. We've met with them now that we have the contract signed. So we will, I will.
Mhm. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I want to say one thing too. I appreciate the fact that you're thinking on the lines of, we don't need to build two different things for the same purpose.
That's exactly right. And if it's gonna be a community hub, I mean, I think that would be great
Mhm.
for.
Yeah.
To have all that stuff happening in the same spot. We need to work together. And they were on board with it as well.
As far as I'm concerned, there's any better project for a community other than library, because I'm from Francisco. We never had any kind of library. And I wish we had it back then, but, so. But I think that's about the best project we can give money for if we can get it.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much. And bless you for your work that you do. Byron, I know this is digressing slightly, but it made me think of something that the sheriff and I saw when we went to Knox County. And they had a little library in there. It was kind of disheveled, wasn't it, Sheriff? I mean, it's kind of like books here and there. And I mean, it didn't look like a real big library, but can you add that to your list?
Yeah.
A library for our jail? I mean, seems like a pretty valuable resource. I'm not saying we can get them to read, right, Sheriff? I'm not saying that, but maybe some will take an interest.
We got a couple of small ones.
Yeah.
We donate books to the library,
Bless you,
you know.
bless you. That's outstanding.
So if you ever been to a big penitentiary, they've got libraries and it's amazing. They've got stuff people wouldn't think they'd have.
We got a couple of small ones now, of course, we have to turn stuff down.
Yeah. Well, I've been to that Carlisle on a tour and oh my goodness. I mean, they've got computers everywhere I don't know how much they spend on their library, but it's a lot of money.
Well, I think integrating in jail with, not a library system, but even last time I was here, the CEO for the YMCA, they have worship directors that would one at a time. Connection, great service like that, really jail and then from all of the service. Well, great input on my show.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And we now are privileged to establish a proclamation by the commissioners. I'm going to ask Mary and Kim Montgomery to present this, if you would. This is a proclamation. I'll read it. Gibson County Board of Commissioners, Gibson County Historic Recognition. This is to certify that Greeks, in recognition of its historical and architectural significance and to encourage its preservation, is hereby established a Gibson County Historic Recognition local landmark. And I would ask that we go ahead and sign this now. And I'll also ask or entertain a vote to approve establishing Greeks as a Gibson County historic recognition. Essentially, it's local recognition of Greeks here in Princeton, Indiana.
Well, I'll make that motion.
Have a motion made. Do we have a second?
Well, I would have liked to known about it beforehand, but I don't have a problem with it.
Very good.
So I'll second.
And a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And Mrs. Whitehead, if you'll come forward, I'm going to ask that Commissioner Montgomery and Commissioner Key present that to you, and that
Oh, can you take it?
and media outlets, do you mind if we get a picture of Commissioner Key and Commissioner Montgomery with her? And I'll get out a picture.
Why are you getting out of the picture? You're a commissioner.
I want to be, get in there. I want to be considerate of my friends, so.
I'll put that on there for Commissioner Steele. I need that in the picture.
Gotcha. Okay, you guys can look at one another if you want to. It'll take about 35. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And Mrs. Whitehead, I hate to put you on the spot, but do you mind giving us just a short update on this project and what you're doing, some of the great things you're doing over there at Greeks?
We are currently, we just got ownership of it. We're currently, hopefully start construction next June. It's a huge project. We're focused on the main floor and the back patio for right now. We have a donor who's private at the moment, and they're giving us a huge chunk. So we have to go ahead and get the fairly sound, make it pretty.
And was working on getting the rest of the funding by selling engraved bricks. And I filed for a few grants. We have lineage of the original owners, who also in Sturm and Margot now, who is going to rent out space for us. So downtown, for instance, has residual income, and we can have another candy store.
Very good, very good.
Does anybody have any questions about it?
Now, where can you purchase these bricks? Is it best just to reach out to you or?
Yeah, right now, we're working on a website, but we have our Facebook page, which is Downtown Princeton, Indiana. My email and information's on there, and how you can send in, your check for the break.
Outstanding, and just want to compliment you on doing this preservation and helping the downtown area of Princeton improve and bringing people, bringing customers into the area. I think it's all a great resource for the city of Princeton, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to give her applause if we could here, just for. It's nice to see young people giving back to the community, and especially in this way.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
You said you were gonna start making candy again?
Yes, well, I won't, we'll be running it out to, lineage of the original owners. And-
You're gonna let Louis make candy there?
Do what?
You're gonna let Louis?
Louis not gonna, it's his family, but he's not gonna have a part of it. But they've been working in Columbus, Indiana, because of Moros or Hericos.
Okay.
And that's cousins of the original owners, and they opened that restaurant back at the same time. So he's running around and make all the original cafes and chocolates and that sort of thing from that part of the family.
Yeah, I'm at the health department, so.
We're gonna be sanitary.
He'll be a good resource for you. Remember that name, Ben Dye.
I don't know if anybody knows, this is a bit of trivia. Pete Andriakis's brother had a candy store in Owensville at the same time. And my family from Perry County used to go to Owensville to get their candy.
Thank you, Hannah. Major medical leave, we've already seen. Do you need that put to a motion?
Yes, we need,
Okay, I'll ask for a motion for the approval of the major medical leave.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
aye,
And also, the FMLA leave, if I could have,
I'll make a motion on doing
thank you,
that.
motion approved, thank you.
I know the percent, what's going on there.
Okay, do we have a second for the FMLA?
Do we have any information on that? I don't know.
this, all the information.
I said I won't.
all the-
Oh, that was the one.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Again, on behalf of the commissioners, we're honored to announce the historic recognition for Greeks. And thank you for coming in, and also want to thank all attending this evening. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Election board.
We have election board, okay.
I've got a document on that submitted by the county clerk, Jim Morrow. He's asking to move Barton 2, which is presently located at Barton Township School Library, to Mackey Church of the Nazarene. And the reason for the request to change is in case school is in session or, yeah, essentially that's it, in case school is in session. So I'd ask for a motion to approve this change.
Also move.
Second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. 3-0 account. I'll entertain a
You
motion
want something,
to,
Bob?
I said the real boy been down there for about 50 years,
Yeah.
so.
was there anything else out there? I didn't mean to skip over anything.
I had just seen his hand go up. That's why.
Okay.
I do.
Mr. Spindler, go ahead, sorry.
I thought that this was previously voted on. We've got some invoices here on the project that Grant and Josh helped us with. Grant, his invoices total $7,095 for services rendered after January the 1st. I'll pass this around. Again, I thought this was voted on and approved, but they have not been paid yet. Josh Claiborne's invoice amount is $4,759. And again, that is for services commencing after January 1. I would ask that we get these invoices approved and paid.
Do you need us to set that to a motion?
Yes,
again?
please.
Okay,
I'll make the motion to accept these and approve payment.
we got a motion made. Do we have a second? All second, all in favor, signify
I
by
would
saying.
like discussion, please.
Oh, there is a need for discussion. Go ahead, Ms. Mary.
Yes, they were not hired until the 1st of March. This is all work done previous to that hiring of them by the county commissioners. So I have a problem with paying people for work that was for the county, but was not voted on to hire at the time they wanted to be paid for.
Appreciate your input on that. Any other input? We got a motion made. I'll second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right,
Aye. Any nays?
Nay,
And noted one nay. At this time, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
make that motion adjourn.
Motion, do we have a second?
second.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
All right.
Thank you for coming.